Hi, children. Good morning. Today, let's start the discussion of the sixth lesson in our textbook, My Childhood. Children, you might know many scientists, Indian or other nations' scientists, national or international scientists. But do you know the name of some scientists who are also statesmen? Statesman means a person, who is a national or international leader who leads a country, like a political leader, maybe a political leader like that, a prime minister, president. Do you know any such scientist? Yes, of course, your guess is correct. APJ Abdul Kalam. He was a great scientist and he worked as the 11th president of our country, India. See, you know that his projects in space, defense, and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, and he became our 11th president in 2002. He worked as the president of India from 2002 to 2007. You all know that. And in his autobiography, Wings of Fire, you all know that he wrote his autobiography with the name Wings of Fire. He speaks of his childhood. Generally, autobiographies of highly successful people are very interesting to read. So I suggest you all to fetch that full book of that Wings of Fire and read it. Now, from in our lesson, an extract of his childhood days is given from that Wings of Fire. Let's see. All of you open your books at page number 68. My childhood. So, as it was an autobiographical account, it goes on in the first person as somebody is speaking. Abdul Kalam is speaking. Here, I refers to Abdul Kalam. And before going into the lesson, let's look at the new words they give on the textbook itself on the right margin side. First one, erstwhile. Erstwhile means former, before, erstwhile. Innate, inborn quality or feeling in one's nature, which is inherited or which is acquired by birth. Innate. And another one, austere. It is pronounced as austere, A-U-S-T-E-R-E. Austere means simple, strict, and severe. Generally, we take as austere life. These all monks, saints, they lead an austere life. Like that we say, austere, simple. Now, let's look at the lesson, children. Page number 68, first paragraph. Abdul Kalam is telling about his childhood. First, I'll read each paragraph first and then I'll explain. When I am reading, look at the textbook. Children, I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. My father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashiamma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. See, children, in this first he gave an introduction of his family and his parents. He was born in the erstwhile Madras state. Once upon a time, before 1953, you know that Andhra Pradesh was also a part of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu and Andhra states, these two together were called Madras state. So at that time, he was born in that Madras state, which also included our present Andhra Pradesh, in an island town of Rameshwaram. His father's name was Jainul Abdin, and you know that his mother is Ashiamma, and they were very good parents. He says that his father was not much educated or he was not rich, but he had good generosity. He had very good qualities, innate wisdom. That means by birth he got certain good qualities. And he had an ideal helpmate in his mother, Ashiamma. Ashiyam. I do not recall the exact number of people. That means what he says every day. Many people used to visit their house when Abdul Kalam was young, and they used to have their lunch or dinner in their house. So he says that maybe more than the number of family members, other outsiders also used to have lunch or dinner in their house. Now look at the second paragraph, children. First I will read. I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mask Street in Rameshwaram. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Now, in the second paragraph, he is telling about his father's financial status and all these things. Though he was not very rich, he used to provide him with everything, whatever a child needs in his childhood. And they lived in their ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. That means around 1850, 1860, like that, in the Mask Street of Rameshwaram. Ancestral house means it was built by maybe Jain Labdin's father or grandfather. An old house they were living. It is a Pakka house, and those days they used limestone to construct houses. So his father was a very austere person, a simple person. He avoided all unnecessary expenditure. He used to spend money for only what is required for day-to-day life. So Abdul Kalam says his childhood was both very secure. He had a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Material means in terms of things which are required by a child or by a human being, and emotional support from his parents. This is the first. These are the first two paragraphs, children. And then next, turn the book. Turn to page number 69. Look at page number 69, children. Third paragraph. Then the Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. That means he was born in 1931. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mask Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinmani. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war, but soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Samshuddin, who distributed papers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. Samshuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. Then he is describing later days of his life. When he was 8 years old, that is in 1939, the Second World War broke, and in the beginning of the war, they were secure as it was an isolated place far away from the mainland. It's an island town, small town, children. So they didn't feel the pinch of that Second World War. But later, England also joined that Allied forces. It asked Indians also to join. Then a state of emergency was imposed in the whole country. The impact was that the train that was halting in Rameshwaram railway station was stopped. That means its halt was removed. Then what happened? His another cousin Samshuddin, he used to distribute papers, newspapers. So daily he used to collect those papers from the railway station. But now the train is not stopping in Rameswaram station. So they used to throw the bundle when the Rameswaram station arrives, approaches. They used to throw the bundle of newspapers. So Shamsuddin needed a person who will bring those bundles to his shop. Naturally, he found a very good associate in his cousin APJ Abdul Kalam. So he appointed him to collect those bundles every day. When the train went that side, they threw those bundles on the track. Then the duty of our Abdul Kalam was to collect those bundles and take back them to Samsuddin. Like that, he earned his first wages at the age of 8 or 9 children. See, that's why he says there was a surge of pride. At the age of 9, 8, he made his first earnings. So that was a very pride memory for any child, for any human being. And of course, he used to get the knowledge of this war, what is happening in the war and all those things. His brother-in-law used to tell all these things, Jalaluddin. Then he used to refer them in the newspaper. Next lines, Dinamani. Dinamani was a very famous newspaper, Tamil newspaper those days. Dinamani Press, now still it is there, children. So this is about his first earning. In this paragraph, Abdul Kalam is describing when he earned his first wages, whatever it may be, very small amount it is, but he earned on his own so that he could spend that amount on whatever he wanted. Now let's go to the fourth paragraph. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my 3 brothers and sister. I had 3 close friends in my childhood: Ramanatha Shastri, Aravindan, and Shivaprakashan. All these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramanatha Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his... Turn the page, children, look at page number 70. Rameshwaram temple from his father. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shivaprakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. Now in this paragraph, fourth paragraph, Abdul Kalam is describing what he inherited from his parents, from his mother and father. And also he is telling about his childhood friends. Generally, every child in the society, or every human being in the society, we inherit certain characteristics because of our socio-economic and emotional environment. So, in the same way, Abdul Kalam also inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father. See, to be honest, you all know that honesty is the best policy in life. That honesty he inherited from his father, and also self-discipline. Children, these two are very important for any human being to become successful. First one is self-discipline. Unless we have discipline on ourselves, unless we lead our life with certain amount of discipline, we all know that many people lack this self-discipline and face so many problems because of that. We see many children are, you may know, maybe you are doing like that, you may know some of your friends doing like that. They set alarm for 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock or 6:30. When alarm rings, they simply stop it, and again they go to bed. They snore into the glory. See, this is what happens This why does it happen? This happens only because of lack of self discipline. They think of waking up at 7, 6:30 or 7, but they don't. Unless we have that self discipline. They think of watching TV for only half an hour or an hour, but beyond that they watch. Whatever it may be, children, unless we have this self discipline, we cannot achieve any success in our lives. So, honesty and self discipline, he inherited these two noble qualities from his father, and from his mother, he inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sister. He inherited two more good qualities from his mother. What are they? Faith in goodness and deep kindness, generosity. That is what is needed in all people who are in power, particularly. So, these two qualities he inherited from his mother: honesty, self discipline, faith in goodness, kindness. Four noble, very noble qualities he got from his parents. And he says that not only he, all his siblings, like other three brothers and sister, also inherited the same qualities from his parents. And now he is telling about his childhood friends. Surprisingly, he has all his friends, three friends, belong to Hindu family and Brahmins, his close friends. Abdul Kalam, we know that he was a Muslim, but his three close friends were Hindus and, of course, Brahmins, and one of those friends was the son of the high priest of Rameshwaram temple, who became the next priest after his father. See, very surprising, children, this is. But they did not have any such differences because of that religion and all these things. Ramana Shastri, he was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest or head priest of Rameshwaram temple, and after his father, he became the head priest of the temple. And Aravindan, another friend he had, he went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, transport business, arranging buses, cars, like that. And Sivaprakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So all the friends settled very well. Here, very interesting thing, as I told you, was that all his friends belonged to Hindu community and, of course, Brahmins, but they did not have that difference. You are Brahmin, I am a Muslim, or you are Hindu, so you are Muslims. Such differences they never had in their minds. That was a very noble thing we have to learn, children. Let's complete one more paragraph in this module. Now I am going to read the fifth paragraph. Children, look at the fifth paragraph. During the annual Sri Sitarama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord Rama, the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. That is the wonderful thing. Even though they were Muslims, his mother and grandmother, they used to narrate stories from Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. That's and of course, Ramayanam, and also about the prophet, their religious stories they used to narrate. And his father used to arrange a boat to take the idols of Lord Rama to the site of where that Kalyanotsavam takes place for Sri Rama Navami, Sri Rama Kalyanam. This is the very interesting thing that happened in Abdul Kalam's life. We can now easily know, we can understand how he became so great, so generous a person, a very good statesman, a great leader, a great scientist. Above all, you know that Abdul Kalam was a great human being. Okay, children. So these are the first 5 paragraphs. Let's stop here, and I'll post a Google worksheet for self-assessment based on these 5 paragraphs. So before attempting that, please read these 5 paragraphs once again and also go through the meanings. Only 3 meanings were given on the right margin of the page number 68, and 16, 9 the words given are not, of course, English words. They just some definitions or explanations are given. So after going through the 5 paragraphs once again, please try to attempt the Google worksheet. Okay, children, this is for this period, and let us see the remaining lesson in the next video.